Hey guys, what's up? How y'all doing? I'm here to review the latest little issue of Smallville. Yeah, it's like issue 9, part 1, like first 3 chapters of the new story arc, Haunted. As you can see, like right film. I really like the feel of it. Here we got Impulse right here. You know, aka Bart Allen from the show, Flash, Kid Flash, whatever you want to call him. He's back, and here in he has a little costume here, and here's Clark as Superman. He's flying. They're kind of in a race who's faster. And here. All right. Well, but here, let's get into it. All right. Here's the beginning. It begins with Lex and Tess. Well, basically, right here, you'll see. Basically, this is when Lex is in Tess's subconscious in a way. Basically, he's trying to get to her mind, find out what she knows. And here, this is the moment when she was abandoned as a child by Lionel and at Granny Goodness's orphanage. Here, Lex tries to find out, and here adult Tess leads young Tess away. Young Tess away. Basically, what's going on here is that basically it's kind of, if you look right here, like it's very similar to what we saw in the episode Fracture of season 7. Here, Lex is trying to entering the mind of Tess, his subconscious, his own mind, which is kind of interesting how that works. He's trying to find out what she knows about Superman, and they're trying to basically, he's trying to enter his mind, her subconscious, and everything. And then right away, like basically he's pulled out. Like he's pulled out of his subconscious. Like basically because like Otis has news for him. He's pulled out to the red door right here. Like he's pulled out because Superman. Basically Superman's on the move. Basically, Superman's like defending an attack. There's an attack on the city, and Superman's on there. And here we see a conversation between Jeff Page and Bert from the photographer, and Bert Camp, like and the photographer in Masquerade here. Like here, like Superman like goes through a wall, and they're like, why can't Clark be more like that? Because they say Clark's taken off, and he takes and everything. And of course, it's interesting how basically they still don't recognize him. His face and everything, but I guess he's pulled it off. But Anyway, moving on. Here, there's an attack, and Superman, I should say, Superman's like defending it. And here, the perpetrator is this guy, a guy named Simon Jones. But he goes by Simon as in P, as with the silent P, He's like, he emits. Let's see, he emits like I guess powers blast from his brain and everything. And then here Lex steps in as we find out he was a previous experiment from Lex, Project Ares from season 6, and Lex tries to step in, try to be the hero, and try to be peaceful, and then he attacks, and then here, like Superman like zips like Lex out of the way, and here they have a little conversation. Here's what happened. It's only a matter of time before Mo goes to your past. You don't remember. Start wrapping chains around your neck. You need to prepare yourself, Lex. What I don't need is you fighting my battles for me, Superman. I'm not in a position to discriminate saving lives, innocent or not. Basically, this little banter. Basically, is like, basically Superman is like saying, I'm here to save lives. It's because it's the right thing to do. And Lex kind of fires back, think, public might think you love you if you even let the worst of us fall through the cracks. It's because it's the right thing to do. And everything. And then he leaves him off, and then he goes back to fighting Simon. And here's in the fight, and then here we have a certain introduction by, Flash comes back, in his little uniform, and he helps him take him out, and then they have ice cream, and then afterwards, here in the next little chapter, whatever you want to call it, we have Lois sitting in Lex's office. Otis, who's revealed to be Otis Berg, is basically waiting for him. They have a little banter. Basically, she feels Lex doesn't respect him and everything, which is true. And then she enters, and then Lex is sort of tracking Superman, I guess. And then here we find. Hang on 1 second. Here we have basically I got a text message. Sorry about that. Basically, Lex and Lois, they're trying to having a little conversation themselves, basically, they have a little banter, and then here we find out a little something here. Here's Tess appears, and then as Lois and Lex are talking about Project Ares, and she knew basically she knew one of Lex's little experiments, Wes Keenan and everything, so she knew him. And basically it subconsciously tests through Lex, subconsciously writes a little note to Lois. And here, I'll just kind of skip forward here, it says help right here. Basically subconsciously gets a note, which is interesting. And then meanwhile, Bart and Clark are sort of catching up. You know, they're racing through the ocean. Basically, he's saying, you know, I used to be faster than this. Like, well, that's Bart. No, this is Bart saying, you know, you used to be faster than this. You know, you think flying special? I run slower now that I can fly. Basically, you know, getting slower with age, not quite. Basically, they have a fly, and then they have a race. You know, loser boy buys lunch. And here they race through, let's see, Africa, and then let's see, they race through Africa, and then not sure. Here we see. Hang on a second. Wait, and then we have a little someone here, like basically. And then we have, well, I guess, so it's no, but I was, how long have you rested? And I guess enough Flash, Bart sees a little someone say it's Jay Garrett, like the other Flash, but I guess maybe we'll see him, I don't know. And then here afterwards, like, you know, moving on, started to kind of drag this on, but basically, they have a little talk, and they see what, you know, they talk about Lex, and they talk about, you know, the radiation. He feels like, it seems like, you know, the sun's ability to heal me is chipping away the radiation half-life, but still might be a long while. I said camp outside, but basically, the sun's radiation is sort of getting rid of the radiation, slowly getting rid of the radiation that Lex put on him, and said, you know, camp outside. Bart says camp outside the sun until it burns away. Said Emil worries that there's no way to slow that down. Once it starts, that I'll end up wanting to turn into raw energy. Basically, it could turn him in energy, in a sense, kill him in some sense. So, yeah. And then they talk about the past, you know, talking about when they first met. Here's like a little flashback from Run. They talk, and Bart says, I love you. He says, I love you too, but, you know, it's just a friend way. And then they get a call from Chloe, aka Watchtower, saying there's a situation in Paris, and they're the closest one, and here they go, and they run fast again, and right there. And then, right here, Lex, like, and right now we're in hyper solitary, like, Lex goes to visit Simon, right here, and he's like, has a little brain case, and, you know, Simon says, stay away from me or I'll kill you, but he figures, you know, with his powers, he could figure out, I guess, some secrets into his mind, and then into Lex's mind. If you can see into my mind, I've tried hypnosis science. Is there any? And then right here, like, you know, he's trying to get Simon to go into his mind, and then we see Simon actually sees Tess right here. He can actually see Tess, you know, because of his abilities. You know, he has a little mind here, his abilities, you know, it's right here. Is there any? And he tells him, he has a little thing here. You know, he turns up, he says, you know, basically he's got a little helmet to pretty much keep him out of people's heads. And he tells him, you know, people keep turning up the juice, you know, he doesn't want it. He basically tells Lex to leave, and meanwhile, like, getting towards it, like, Superman and Impulse, like, arrive, and then we see this guy right here, Mansour Mala and the Brain. Basically, they're lovers. It's basically a man who is a scientist, and basically they're French, and they're basically stealing art from, like, the Louvre in Paris, and then they fight off a bunch of monkeys and everything. Right here, basically they're trying to destroy him, and then they're lovers and everything, and then Bart kind of I guess Bart right here, he's trying to stop the bullets and you know, save the civilians, and he kind of goes, like, supercharged, like, super fast, which is interesting how that works. And then, meanwhile, right here, Bart sees a little something here. I'm not sure what that is. Like, it might be a ghost from his past, I don't know. But, you know, he sees something got him, and then, you know, basically, something got him, and meanwhile, you know, Superman stops the situation, Monster, Mal, and the Brain, which are lovers. I'll get to that in a minute. Basically says, you know, Bart said, almost got me, what, nothing, and then right there, and that's the end of that. We'll get the next chapter tomorrow, but I'll get whenever the next issue comes out. Will be in a few weeks. But yeah, like, good stuff, solid story. You know, I really like it. And then, you know, I like how these guys were brought back. And then a few notes. You know, I'll just get on and talk about a few things. like before concluding my little review, recap, whatever you want to call it. But great story. I like how they brought him back. I'm really looking forward to see what happens and everything, and just deal with like Monsieur Mala and the Brain. They're lovers. The Brain was a scientist, and Mala was like a gorilla they experimented on. They experimented on the lovers, and it's kind of weird how that works. But you know, I won't touch on that. But even though other than the fact it's a little weird, but anyway, yeah. And then there's Simon. Simon, he has brain powers. You know, basically he can see into some people's subconscious, and you know, has his energy from his brain. You know, he was one of Lex's experiments, and Lex is trying to use him to find subconscious, but it doesn't work. It doesn't really. He and no in tests kind of affords him because he can see it and more. But yeah, that's that, and you know, that's it for me. And one other thing, I guess, from my understanding, there's also a side story like Barnes Parallel called Effigy, which is a digitally exclusive chapter. I haven't had a chance to look, but I've heard about it. You know, I've read about it. I haven't read it itself, but if I ever get a chance to get to it, I'll do a review on that. But we'll see. But yeah, basically that little side story follows the Martian Manhunter, aka John Jones, on an adventure with Batman, Bruce Wayne. Where they go and they kind of, there's a little side story there, it has to do with Martians and John Jones's past and everything like that. All right, well, that's it for me, and I'll see you soon. Bye.